Hey everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking, and this is House Rules. House Rules is a party game for several people. I've played it with up to 6. You probably play it with more. I mean, it says 3 to 6 in the box, but I played it with 6 people, and 5, and 4, and 3, and I've had a lot of fun with it. This is a game where, as you can probably guess, it has a lot to do with house rules. So, like, as you know, if you play board games, you know, a lot of people, like, take a game and they'll say this game would be really great, but let's change this particular rule, and then it's just this is our house rule that we're playing under. But House Rules takes that idea and applies it to the party game atmosphere, and basically what happens is that the players themselves get to implement different rules and changes that are in the game, and also get to change, like, the cards they have to, you know, possible humorous intent and whatever. And as I said, it is a party game. It is not meant to be the most difficult game you ever play, but it's meant to promote really good, funny interaction between you and the other players at the table. Hey everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking. This is House Rules. House Rules is a game for 3 to 6 people. You can probably play with more if you wanted to. I mean, you definitely could support more. But I mean, I played it with 6, and I played it mostly with 5 and 6 people. But I played a couple games with 3. But the big thing about the game is that it implements the idea of house rules. The house rules are the as you probably will know, like when you have a certain game that, like, your game group likes to play, but there's like that one rule that they want to change. You know, it's, why don't we just play it this way? And everybody agrees that you're going to play the game with that rule. You know, we like the game Talisman, classic game, but my friends and I, we have dozens of house rules that we've implemented because that's a game that we played for decades. But regardless, what they've taken is that they've taken that idea of house rules and they've implemented it as part of the mechanisms. The players themselves will pick the rules that the game is played under for each successive turn, and they'll also get a chance to, like, change some of the cards and add words and things like that to change intent and kind of make humorous things that are added and what have you. This is a party game. I mention that because of the fact that it isn't the most difficult game to play. It isn't the most intense game to try to figure out as far as the rules go or anything like that, but it is a game that the intent of the game is, for more than anything else, is for the players to be able to sit at a table and have a good fun, laughing and joking and enjoying themselves. But I'll talk about that when we get to the end. But right now, let me show you how you play House Rules, and then we'll come back here and we'll do the thing. Alright, so let's learn how to play House Rules. So the game is basically just a bunch of cards. Now, you have a deck of cards that are the rules, which are these here, and then you have the weapons cards, which are these here. I put them in 2 separate decks just because they're a really tall deck and they got sleeves on them and they're slippery, but, you know, whatever. You don't have to do that. I just have them in 2 decks so you can draw from those. The game is played over a series of turns. You'll actually see them here. It's like you have the three turns that you have. You get to name your little house. And here's the thing, all the cards, like, you get a dry erase marker, like here, and, like, so you can say, oh, you know, what house am I going to be? Well, House Viking, of course. So I can write House Viking on there. If I could actually draw. And then that'll be like House Viking, and I'd be able to, like, go ahead and play. Then I'll keep track here. Now this faces out like this, which I think is cool because it keeps the rules in front of you. You can always look down, and if you, like, want to know exactly how the rule works, and then you have that facing out, so people are going to be able to keep track of your score as you play. The stash, as it says up there, as you take cards and earn points, you'll be able to, like, put your cards and your points behind there, and so people can see how many, like, weapons you've collected, and those are going to be your points. Alright, so the way the game works is you're going to get 5 weapons cards and you're going to get 2 rules cards. So let me just grab 5. I'm not going to deal out for everybody here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 weapons cards and you get 2 rules cards. When you get your 2 rules cards, you're going to pick one of these and you're going to put it on the table. Everybody else is going to do the exact same thing. So let's just look at the rules. So with feeling, read the name of the attack weapon out loud when you clash with another player or the attack fails. So, okay, that's cool. And then embrace chaos. And this rule is revealed. Discard it and replace it with the top rule of the rule deck. Well, I don't really like that one because I don't know what I'm going to get. So I'm just going to pick that one. So you put that one face down, like I said, and then everybody else will contribute. So I'm just going to say there's 4 other players. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, for a total of 5 players in this game. And you discard the one that you don't use, and then you take these and you shuffle them up so you don't know. I mean, you have an idea because you've thrown in your rule, but you don't know for sure if your rule is going to be drawn because you're only going to reveal 3 of these that you're going to use. Now let's go ahead and look at the weapons that I have. So I have Expecto Patronum, and I'll explain what the number is here in just a moment here. So I have Expecto Patronum, Giant Harry in the blank, meaning I have to fill that in, 3 feet of a blank, and this one weird trick, and swinging a wet rubber hose. Alright, so I'm going to want to play a low number, and I'll explain why here in just a second. So I'm going to say 3 feet of, oh man, I don't know. I wish this was live and I could just ask. But let's say 3 feet of twine. I don't know why, I just picked that. You know, obviously, depending upon your crowd, you could definitely just write whatever you want. And that's one of the nice things about this game is that if you are playing with an older group, you can definitely play it more adult. And if you're playing with, like, your family and your kids, you know, like, my son would probably say, like, 3 feet of Fortnite or something on that. But anyway, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that face down in front of me, and everybody else is going to do the exact same thing. Alright, so then what happens is that we're going to take the top 3 rules, we're going to get rid of the other 2, and then we're going to see what we got. So, the 3 we have is turn of 11 during the attack. If the attack and defense value is up to 11, the attack succeeds automatically. All players must play with 1 card in their hand facing away from them, so that everybody gets to see that. And then tiebreaker, if the attack and defense are equal during a clash, players not involved in the clash must decide which weapon wins based on the weapon descriptions. So, oh, well, crazy. So, obviously now, the rule I picked didn't get picked as a rule that's going to be used in this particular clash. So, which is no big deal, whatever. So, you're going to turn this card over, and you're going to show that number, and everybody else does the exact same thing. Now, here's the trick with the numbers. The lower your number is, the earlier you're going to go in the turn. So, what happens is that if I was like the lowest number with 5, I would be able to take my action first. If somebody was lower than that, they could also take the action. However, a higher number makes it tougher to attack somebody because of the fact that that's the power that you have to defeat. All right. In the occasion, now there's a mutually assured destruction actually if more than one person. Like let's say there's another person that had picked 5 and we were both going to be playing. Now this isn't necessarily a bad thing because if you end up tying somebody else, both you immediately get to put that card in your stash, meaning that it's going to be worth points, and then you immediately go ahead and pick another card from your pile and place that in front of you. So let's say then now I'm going to take a 10. I'm going to take my Expecto Patronum and I'm going to put that in front of me so I have a really, really good defense. I'm going to go last, but most likely, but you know, I have that available to me. Alright, so how does the game work? Well, the game works by whoever is first, meaning that they have the lower number. And let me just actually dig out a lower number here so I can actually show how that works. But if I have a lower number, then I'm going to get to go. So let's say, so I have weaponized, weaponized what? You know, quick, let me channel the people that are listening. Let's say weaponized cats. My daughter's playing, so she picks weaponized cats on there. And now I'm going to get to go. So what I'm going to do with, what I'm going to have a clash, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one other person at the table. And I'm going to pick them as the person that I am going to clash with, that I'm going to attack, that I'm going to be trying to defeat their defense. So, for example, let's say I have this card in front of me, but that doesn't matter. That's just my defense. Let me just turn a card over at random here. And so somebody has, I don't want to do that. Like this incredibly powerful card of 10. I don't want to deal with that because, I mean, I don't have another. Hold on. Let me just, I got to get a smaller number here so I can kind of show this how this works. So let's say somebody put out, and these numbers do go down even lower, so like here's a card with number 2 on there, but let's say somebody had this card in front of them, pushing you down in the street, and that's worth a 5. So that's their attack, or that's their defense. So I could say, I'm going to clash with you, and then I could put down this 6, because remember I have this cool little thing where it adds up to 11, the attack succeeds automatically. What happens then is I get to just kill that person and I get to destroy them, and I'm going to be able to take those cards and put them in front of you. And now that's because of that special ability, that special, like we totaled up to 11, and I get to take that. Now, normally, let's just say that rule didn't exist. Let's have this happen again. They have a 5, and I put down the 6. Now, what can happen is that there are special cards that people can have in their hand, these special abilities cards. I'm going to show something to you. So, these are all like play after any clash ends. Draw a card, clash with the attacker using a weapon from your hand at twice the value. So you can, but also you can discard any rule. You can play that at any time. But play during any clash. Blow up any clash, discard all attack and defense weapons in that clash, meaning it's just done and nobody gets to do anything. Play during any clash. Double the value of one attack or defense value. So like if you had this and you were defending, you could play that, give yourself a 10, and then you'd be able to defeat that. If a defender wins the battle, they take the attacker's card or cards that they may have used through that attack, and they get to put them in their stash, and they retain their defense. If you take somebody's defensive card, they immediately have to put a card down in front of them, and if they can put a card down that's a lower number than any of the cards that happen to be in front of anybody else, they will then get to go next, which is a cool little thing as well. Also, like, you can have a situation where, like, you just have a succession of small numbered cards, and you'd be able to, like, take multiple turns in a row, which is a way to get rally up points if you can manage to, like, take down other people's defenses. So, misfire, play during any clash, return any attack weapon to their owner's hand. So, obviously you'd win there. And then combo, play during draw a card, combine a weapon from your hand with any attack or defense. So you can help those out. And these cards are just like any other weapons cards. They're interspersed in the decks, and you draw those when you draw a card. If you don't want to fight on your turn, maybe you can't win a battle and you can't do anything to pull it off, what you'll end up doing is you can pass. When you pass, you draw a card and then discard one, because you have to keep, like, this is a thing where you keep playing until everybody runs out of cards. You draw a card and then you discard one, and then you can't take a turn until the next clash is over. So, like, you can't immediately then go to the next person, they're involved in a clash, and you get to go, you can play cards to mess with them. You have to wait at least one more before you can take a turn. But then, as I said, you just keep going around the table until nobody can play, and you basically everybody runs out of cards because they're unable to either attack or and carry through with, or replace a card that they've been attacked and been destroyed. And then once that's over, you total up the number of cards that you've claimed in that round, and you go ahead and get your points, and then you reshuffle up and you divvy out new rules cards, divvy out a new hand, and you play again for another round. The rounds don't take a long time. They're very quick and they're very fun. It is always fun when you see some of the weapons that come out that are kind of goofy, and also when you get to name certain things. And one of the things about the game is that they do actually include lots of blank cards that basically say, go ahead and come up with your own things. Come up with your own house rules, come up with your own weapons, come up with and customize the game in any way you like. When you come up with one of your own house rules, there is one rule. If you have a card that you can draw out your own house rule, and which is totally your right to do so, it has to be approved by at least one other person at the table. So if you come up with something really outlandish that nobody else wants to do, unfortunately, they probably will, nobody will approve it, and it won't go through. I think that's where, obviously, that's where a lot of fun comes with out of the game, as far as the creativity of the players and coming up with cool things to do. But also, it's just a lot of these. We played many games without ever coming up with our own things, just because I think the creators of the game did a really good job of coming up with really good rules. When even and odd weapons are involved in a clash, double the value of the attack. Blind firing. Defenses remain face down when the round begins. Turn defenses face up after they are attacked. The player goes first when the round begins, and play proceeds clockwise until all defenses are face up. So, it's obviously, a pretty random event there. Add +3 to weapons if something written or drawn on their blank line. Or write a word on this card. Weapons with that word printed or written on them receive a +3 value. So you can definitely combine certain things. Like if you had that rule card and you had cards yourself that you could write that number, that particular code on, you can do that. Plus, as you draw cards, you can get one with a blank, and then you can add that as well. And here, just one more. Each weapon now has the value equal to the number of words on the card up to the maximum value of 10, which obviously if you could write your own stuff on there, you could definitely maximize that out if you wanted to. So, the game is not so much, it's a party game, right? It's not so much about the winning, it's about the journey towards the win, which makes the game fun. But let me talk about that and more in my final thoughts. That even landed perfectly. That was awesome. All right, so there you go. That was House Rules. Thanks for taking the time to learn how to play. Like I said, it wasn't a lot. Yeah, there wasn't much to it, right? I mean, and I don't say that like as a negative, as far as because party games are meant to be like set up and be ready to play, right? I mean, it isn't about like, oh hey, let's watch somebody like with their face stuck in the rules for like 5 hours trying to figure out what's going on. No, it's like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Let's go. So the fun of this game isn't about trying to win, which may go against a lot. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. The fun of the game comes from trying to win, but it comes from being able to change up your cards and the rules and just the players at the table having a lot of fun. We did toy with like making our own rules, especially when it came to my family. My kids really enjoyed doing that. Like Dad has to stand, or like things. I mean, there was basically like, how can we torture our dad this particular round, and they would like, and I think my kids like had more fun trying to come up with that than they did of ever like actually playing the game in any way. But what I liked about it was that when my friends played, my gamer group played, we had this really great. So this, I mean, I'll try to tell a real quick story. I know. I don't really tell quick stories, but I used to play a lot of poker. There was a gentleman that used to play with us. He's since moved away, but his last name was Weekland, and basically he kind of sort of did a poker faux pas. I won't go into it too much, but anytime that possible faux pas could be coming into play, people at the table would go, Weekland, and it was just like, it became like this thing, right? So, like, somebody came up with a rule that was about Weekland. Even though that guy has long since moved away, I haven't seen him, in years, in over a decade. But I mean, it was just a really inspired and cool way for somebody to take something from our background and add it to a game, and we all caught it. And I think that's where it kind of shines a little bit, because gaming groups are like families, right? And gaming groups are they're very, very mixed, and they're very, very you have years and years of play experience usually that you draw upon, that gets referenced over and over and over again in multiple different times that you get together and play. And ultimately, and I've had discussions like this, and I've said so like on my shows and stuff, but board games are awesome, card games are awesome, games are awesome, right? But for me, especially later on now, in the last few years, they've really, I can sit down and play a game and it's fun, but it's more about being able to sit at a table with my friends for a few hours and being able to enjoy their company than it is really about the game anymore. And I think that it's just a natural progression of how my life has gone, after playing all these games and doing all these things with all these different people. And I think it's kind of neat that I'm kind of aware of this that's happening. And I think it's really, really interesting that I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm not really about playing I enjoy playing the new stuff. I enjoy playing, I enjoy seeing what new designs come out, but it isn't necessarily about me searching for that new lost treasure, of a game. It's more about what game can I find that I can introduce my gamer group that is immediately going to just be fun for us to play. And that could be something simple, or I shouldn't say simple, because yes, House Rules is in comparison to other games, it is a more simple game. But that simple makes it sound like it's not worthy or not particularly like good or in some way, because there's nothing wrong with the game at all. I think the humor comes through in this game perfectly. I think that the interchange between you and the other players at the table is done marvelously. There's everything that I look for in a party game and a social game. It exists in this one, and it presents itself in a way that I haven't played before, and that's why it's something that I want to have on my shelf that I'll be able to take down and play at a moment's notice when I want to enjoy time with my friends and family. But getting apart from that, it's like but simple doesn't necessarily mean bad. Simple means easy to teach, easy to present, easy for people to grasp and begin playing immediately. And I look for games that are like that also make sure that I have really, really good memories, really, really good times, and get referenced later on when we play other things, when we make jokes and have a good time, and look back at play sessions that we had of games like House Rules after the fact, which we've done already, and why I think it is something that I'm going to be enjoying many, many years in the future. So, if you are somebody that wants to have a game where, like, you and your gamer group can just kind of enjoy each other's company, and yes, one of you is going to win the game and going to pull out the win, but who cares who wins? Just enjoy that journey, enjoy that ride to get there, then I strongly suggest you take a look at House Rules and give it a try. So, there you go. Questions, comments, whatever, feed them to me. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Remember, be the positive person. Be the person that people want to be around. Be the person that gives out the love and the happiness and looks for it to come right back to them. And because this world is a happy place if you let it make you happy. So don't forget, be awesome. Be the most awesome version of you can possibly be. Until next time, this is me, the Undead Viking, telling you, you're awesome.